Hey, cosmic superstars, welcome to Honest Flow. My name is Teo, and yeah, welcome. Apologies if my tone is a little bit sort of low today because actually I've um kind of still going through a whole grieving process, and on that note, I really wanted to dedicate this video to our beautiful Persian daughter Dory. Dory was our cat, and sadly, we had to say goodbye to her last week on the 5th of April. And today is actually meant to be her fifth birthday. Today is the 11th of April 2023. And yeah, I really wanted to dedicate this video to her and yeah, just talk a little bit about her and also sort of share her energy with the world, I guess, if that makes sense. So Dora was actually such a beautiful, darling little cat. She was just gorgeous. She was the cutest with the cutest little stubby nose and beautiful blue eyes. And I wore this jumper because it represents the color of her eyes. I don't know if you can see it well. Maybe if I go like that. Ew, I've got food stains. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess. Sea eater. But yeah, she was just such a beautiful soul. She is honestly the epitome of divine feminine energy. She is the epitome of unconditional love. She was just such a loving, gentle, kind soul through and through. Like, she never bit us, she never clawed us, she never did anything wrong. She was just such a sweet soul, and she really won our hearts, especially her daddies, their husbands. And yeah, we honestly really miss her so much and wish she didn't have to go away. But it is what it is, and this is this is life. This is the human life experience, losing loved ones and going through all kinds of challenges. But from a higher perspective, it's all about soul growth. It's all about breakthroughs and initiations. And the interesting thing is, before this recording, I actually pulled out a card from one of my oracle decks. It's actually from my light worker oracle deck. And it's funny talking about initiations. This came out. This card is card number 23, initiation by water, which in a way I kind of laughed at, because just the week before I wrote a little post for Dory, and I was saying how I felt that this was yet another initiation for me. And what I mean by yet another is 4 years ago we had to put down our family dog Hamish, and I remember that period being yeah, just feeling really low and feeling very depressed, and it was another dark night of the soul moment. However, that dark night of the soul took me on this rapid spiritual journey. And yeah, it's taken me to where I am today. So I am here right now doing this video because of that moment in time, because of the loss of Hamish. And now I feel like I'm going through another initiation process to move me into the next phase. And the interesting thing is, I've always had a feeling that one day I may potentially be opening up to spirit or other beings, entities, because actually I've had quite a few psychics and mediums sort of indicate that I would be some sort of channel one day, some sort of downloader, and basically tap into mediumship. And yeah, I even had my Vedic astrologer sort of indicate that I could do that those were one of my gifts. And yeah, it's funny that I drew this particular card, 23, initiation by water, because I'll read I'll read the first little paragraph for you just so you know understand what's happening. So, card number 23, initiation by water. Your spiritual path this lifetime involves you becoming a clear channel for spirit. You are meant to communicate with higher guidance from the loving spiritual worlds. Your initiation by water will further open your receiving channels, dislodge lower vibrational material, and sensitize you to the stable realms of light. You are being open to a world of which you may only have dreamed. Such is its beauty, grace, and love. Sorry, I just got distracted with one of the next lines. But yeah, so that's the card I pulled out, and it was very, very interesting. And actually I pulled out another card as well. This card actually fell out with the initiation by water, and this is card number 2. It says second ray of wisdom. Actually, I should read that one too to see what it says. I can't remember anymore. So, second ray of wisdom. The second ray of wisdom is a consciousness of loving wisdom straight from the heart of the universe. It amplifies the magnetic power of attraction, empowering you to pull into your life all that is needed for your life's work. It brings the opportunity to heal, restore, and understand through the power of love and the light of ancient wisdom. The spiritual master known as the Buddha is with you now to help you to fully receive and integrate the blessing of this ray of light from the universe. So, yeah. Talking about Buddha, I have a Buddha statue right next to me, to my left. So it's kind of funny that I was like, okay, Buddha's coming in now. I don't talk to him that much. I normally talk to my archangels. In the corner of my room, I have this altar that has all these archangels I work with. I don't know if I work with them, but I know that they're present in my life, and some Egyptian gods and goddesses, and Albert Einstein and Ganesh. And who else? I have a moon eclipse goddess. I have a lot of guides with me, to be honest, and Kuan Yin actually. And yeah, and I have Buddha as well. I am actually a Buddhist. Yeah. Random fun fact: I studied Buddhism, or I went to this Buddhist youth group back in 1997 to early 2000s. I think I was doing it for 3-ish years. It's like going to church on a Sunday. So I wouldn't say well versed in Buddhist practices, but I am aware of Buddhist practices and the concepts and things because I did go to a Sunday youth group around Buddhism and learned about those things, which was over 20 something years ago. Yeah, over 20 something years ago. So in case, I just thought I'd throw that out there in case people are like, oh, she's all new to this. But no, there's certain things that I do have a good understanding of since I was younger. But yeah, where am I going with this? Yeah, so back to Dory. Dory, 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 the epitome of the divine feminine. Yeah. Let's make today's video about the energy of love and how you know if you're operating in love or not. Right? And also understanding that fear, worry, hate, they're all the same level. And I'll give you some examples to explain to you why. So love, real love, genuine love, a love that is unconditional and without expectation. That is one of the highest, highest, highest vibrations of frequencies. And your vibration or frequency is basically this. And this is me shaking my hands, just so you know, this is vibration. We are vibing. And believe it or not, everything around us is vibrating. Even this pen is vibrating. This solid and I can never say it, inanimate object, this solid inanimate object, if we put it under a microscope at one of the highest powers that you can zone in on, you would see it is energy just vibrating. But the thing is, these more solid objects, like inanimate objects, vibrate at a much slower rate. That's why it feels still. But everything is moving. Everything, if we put it under a microscope and zoomed in a million, gazillion times, I don't know what the biggest word is, but zoomed in, we would see that it's all moving energy. Right. So love is one of the highest frequencies, the highest vibrations. And love is this feeling that comes from where? Your heart, your heart. And it's the same as light. Love and light are pretty much the same thing. They're interchangeable, the same thing. And yeah, like I said, it's the highest frequency. Now, what's the opposite of love? Obviously, hate. But hate can also be known as fear, also known as worry. Am I making sense? So, what I'm trying to say is a lot of the times people don't realize that they're operating from a place that is vibrating at the same level as hate. Hey, I'm just trying to, sorry, I'm really delirious these days, but let me try to figure out a way to explain this so it clicks for people. A lot of the times, let's say a parent is protecting their child out of a place of what they feel or think is love. They are very overly protective of their child and they tell themselves that they're operating from a place of love, but really they are operating from a place of hate. Now, let me elaborate. They are not really in love, they are in hate because hate is actually fear. Fear and hate are one and the same. Fear and hate are the same energy, low vibrational. Love is up here, hate is down here, and fear is actually the same level as hate. So when we are an overprotective parent who is trying to control our child or protect it from certain things, we are acting from actually a place of fear because we are afraid of losing the child. We are afraid of something happening from the child. And that fear is actually the same level as hate. It's the same thing. And it's important that we start to learn what love truly means. Love means to allow. Love is an expansive energy. Love is free. What I mean by that is when you love something truly, you allow it to be, you allow it to bloom, to blossom, to grow in its own way. You don't try to, what's the word? Like, I'm thinking of the contortionist, like trying to bend it and mold it in, your way, thinking that that's what love is. I'm just helping you grow, like, getting your kid to do these things or learn these things that you think will benefit them, but is it really? Why don't you just let your child grow naturally? I mean, there's certain things that, yes, make sense. You've got to teach them certain things and train your children certain things, but you have to understand true love, genuine love, unconditional love is to allow people to be without judgment, to accept. Acceptance is such a big thing, a thing that I wish more people understood. And it's something that I personally am trying to advocate for, acceptance of those of us who operate differently, acceptance of those of us who cannot and will not fit into your normal boxes. That's what love is. Love is to understand, to allow, to give freedom. And then if your child truly loves you or truly, you know, if it's meant to be, your child will come back. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, right? I don't know if I'm making sense, but I really want people to understand that's what love is. Love is this expansive energy. It's not restrictive. But when parents and this is just an example I'm giving because this is the example that's coming to my mind. An overprotective parent that tries to contain their child, protect it from all these different things, is causing all these restrictions. And it really doesn't come from a place of love, it comes from a place of fear. And fear is the same vibration as hate, right? And so, in that lower vibration, it creates issues. And let me tell you something, animals don't know the difference between fear and hate. For them, it's the same. And what I mean by that is it just feels the same to them. Like an animal cannot differentiate between the low vibes that is behind hate and hate or evil and fear. They just know that, oh, this person is operating at a lower level, danger, danger. So this is why certain people, like I have certain friends who are afraid of cats or afraid of dogs, and then whenever they come over, they're like, oh, they're walking into the room knowing that I have a cat or something, and they're like, oh, cats normally hate me, blah blah blah, I'm scared of them, blah blah. But what this person doesn't realize is because you're scared of the cat, and the cat can sense your fear of them, they don't like you because they are detecting, oh, low vibes. This is evil. This is hate. I know what this vibe means. It means bad. That's what it means to the cat or any animal. If you are afraid of something, afraid of an animal, the animal senses that fear, but the animal doesn't understand that it's fear. The animal sees it as bad, as evil, because it understands lower vibration equals bad, because that's from its own experiences. It knows it's not good. Whereas, when it's in the presence of someone who is high vibrational or at peace, it also understands good. It knows right from wrong, in the sense that this is a good energy to be in, this is not a good energy to be in. So I want people to really think about how they're moving in life and whether it is truly in line with love or if it's in line with fear, and to understand that fear is the same vibration as hate, as evil. And once you kind of become aware of that, you'll start to know, okay, I probably need to operate from love. And what is love? And love is truly an unrestricted energy. It is expansive. It is about nurturing and helping people to grow. It is not about control, not about perfectionism, not about overprotection. It's, yeah, just a free flowing energy that's available to all to access. Yeah. I'll give you this random random example. I have so many like weird stories actually. Like sometimes I think about my life experiences and it's like quite interesting. So since we're talking about animals, and this is a video that's sort of been initiated or triggered by the loss of Dory, and I guess it's nice to have a little bit of animal examples about how they read energy and stuff, and how to identify energy. So I have a few stories, life experiences with animals that I will share with you and tell you. So when I was a young child, potentially 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5, I can't remember exactly, but I was at an age where one of my dad's friends' sons could piggyback me. And this I'll just call this guy a cousin for easier explaining. So I had this cousin, not a real cousin, but I'll calling them a cousin, who one time piggybacked me, and we were in his backyard, and they had this giant German shepherd, right? And I was kind of really scared of this dog and this German shepherd. And my cousin piggybacked me, and he was taking me back to the bungalow to see his little room, because he lived back he had a bungalow in the backyard. And I remember he picked me up, and then he was just piggybacking me, and then I saw the German shepherd and I started freaking out. I started getting really, really scared. Like I was like, he's gonna bite me, he's gonna bite me, he's gonna bite me. And guess what? The German Shepherd leapt up and bit me on the knee. And I remember screaming. And the next thing I remember is that I had to go to this GP, this local GP in the area. And I still remember they were taking me up the stairs, because I remember this GP was up these stairs and then the door was to the left. I can't remember what else happened then, but I just remember I had to go there, and I think I had to get some sort of injection because yeah, when you get bitten by dogs, you have to get injections. But I was quite young. And that's an example of how dogs see fear as bad. I hadn't done anything wrong, but because I was in so much fear and that energy was clearly expanding out, and that dog could feel ill. There's something off with this person, this little girl. It's scaring me, it's freaking me, it's bad. So that dog came and just bit me. Right? And no, we didn't, by the way, we did not put the dog down, because that's not how our family rolls, I guess. I don't know, I think we didn't, because yeah, the dog didn't mean it. And yeah, and I think back in those days, it was 20 something years ago, right? No, actually not even 30 something years ago. I don't think it was, the whole putting down the dog for biting someone wasn't a big deal. But yeah, anyway, getting sidetracked. So that's one experience, about the weird experience about animals. Now, another experience about animals is in high school. I used to have to walk across this oval to go home. And there were these big gum trees, these Australian native trees, gum trees that stood really high, and a lot of magpies, which is these black and white birds that look like crows. I don't know if they have it overseas, but anyway, there were these magpies that would always build nests on these trees. And then I'd always have to walk past this area, this oval, where these trees were sort of lined around. And there was something we call magpie season, which is around spring, where the magpies come out and they're really protective of their children. And I would be very anxious, actually, very scared that, that I'd get swooped, because they were known to swoop. And lo and behold, me being me, I'm so lucky. And I guess because my energy field is so big, I actually do feel that when I'm unhappy, or when I'm happy or unhappy, everyone can feel it, because that's how strong my field is. That's the sense that I'm getting anyway. So, one time I had to walk home from this oval, and then lo and behold, I had a magpie attacking me. And I was in high school and I was screaming. I was like, and at the time, I think there weren't many people around, and I was just like screaming and running, and I was like crying as well. Like, and I was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly feel it's because I was walking through that oval with so much fear in me, and those birds, those magpies, could sense that, oh, there's something bad with this. This person is bad. This person is up to something. And so they came and attacked me, not realizing that it's not that I was evil. I was simply afraid. And again, that's another example of how fear is to animals, is very low vibing energy that equates for them to bad person, to evil, right? And yeah. And another experience I had, again, high school, I was walking home, and I was just around the corner from my street, my house, and then I needed to cross the road to get to my next street. And then I was walking, and then suddenly I looked up, and there was this cat. And I was like, and I looked at the cat, and the cat looked at me, and I was like, I don't know if it was a stray or belonged to someone, but we made eye contact. And then in that moment, I was just like, oh, this cat is gonna come get me. Oh my God. And then I started getting really scared. And then, of course, I started like kind of walking sideways and trying to trying to find a way to walk around it so I could cross the road. But because I felt like I was holding so much fear again within, as soon as I stepped a little bit across the road to try to cross to my side, the cat just ran at me and started going like Is that how cats sound? Sorry, I just sounded really weird, right? But it started like screeching at me, and I was just like, "Oh my God." And I ran panicking home. And yeah, and it basically chased me like what, 20 meters or something, and then yeah, and then it stopped. But yeah, I just want people to understand that fear to animals, fear is the same vibration as hate, as evil, as bad person. So it's really important that we stop operating through fear and start operating through our hearts. And yeah, and just understand that, yeah, love really is the key. And I feel like if more of us tap into our feminine energy, tap into that loving, nurturing side, that more caring and lenient side, and more understanding side, this world will become a better place. And yeah, I feel like this video wasn't what can I say? Not the most articulate, I guess, but I guess yeah, I don't even know. I'm just going with the flow really, and to be honest, this video is just a little tribute to Dory and her beautiful feminine energy, and just how yeah, what a yeah, it's just yeah, just a tribute to Dory and her beautiful energy. And it's funny when I reflect back on those experiences that I had, I used to really be afraid of cats, and I used to actually be really afraid of big dogs, after being bitten by the German Shepherd and after being chased by the cat, I had this big fear of these animals. But as I grew older, I taught myself to relax. I don't even know how I taught myself, and it's not that I read anything or anything like that, but somehow innately taught myself, it's like, hey, you need to relax your energy around animals. You need to just relax and not think they're after you and they're gonna bite you. And when you do that, they'll relax too. And I find that that's what I've learned to do. And now that I'm so relaxed that I have, sometimes when I go to like any sort of workshop or someone's house that have cats, I find, or animals, I find that they come towards me naturally, not chasing me this time, but just come towards me and sort of say hi to me, because I feel like I've learned to operate from the heart and just stay focused in the heart and not see them as a threat. And it gets mirrored back. So that's something actually very important to, when we are more relaxed and we're operating from the heart. And even with people, if we are from coming from our heart and are more relaxed, even if another person might have walls up, they will eventually relax around you, because they will mirror that energy back at you. If you are in the heart, they will eventually be in the heart. And this is the thing, I think love will always win. Love will always win, in the sense that you might have two people come together and one is quite, narcissistic, manipulative, or just not even, I don't want to talk about, let's, sorry, let's rewind. Well, because narcissists are a little bit difficult. Let's just say there's someone who's living in fear and always sees the world as the world is against them. And then they meet someone who's always operating in love. When these people come together, because love is the highest vibration, if this person who has always been operating in fear and worry hangs around this loving person, this high vibrational loving person long enough, that love will rub off on them and they will begin to drop their defenses. And in time, eventually they will become loving too. Because I remember coming across something somewhere, but I can't remember. But basically, what I remember is the highest resonance, the highest vibration always wins. So this is why light workers, even though people are trying to bring us down and stuff, they will always win, because they're operating from the highest vibration, and that vibration will always take over the lower vibrations at some point. It might take longer for some, but high vibrations will always win. The light will always win. I mean, you can be in the darkest room, the darkest cave with no light, but as soon as you turn on, light up a match, pew, that light takes up so much space, right? So yeah, I just want people to really know that. Yeah. Operate in love because that's where it's at. That's where the peace is at. So yeah, thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to seeing how this journey unfolds and seeing if I really do become a medium one day, because it has been foretold and we shall see. Bye guys.